will call to order this meeting of the Village Board of Trustees for August 20th. It is 6 p.m. Please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. We will begin with mayoral appointments. Anthony, please.
Good evening, sir. Number one, whereas Sergeant John Rodecker has advised the village that he will be retiring and utilizing his contractual terminal leave time until that date of his retirement, and whereas the village wishes to fill the vacancy created by Sergeant Rodecker's leave pending his retirement, and whereas Officer Timothy Muller is eligible for appointment for the position of sergeant and has been recommended for promotion by the Chief of Police. Now therefore be it resolved that Officer Muller is promoted to sergeant from Civil Service Eligibles List number 23-5007-121 V27 dated July 31st, 2024. And shall be compensated at an annual salary of $164,522.38 effective August 23rd, 2024, IAW Southampton Village PBA contract, and be it further resolved that the mayor and trustees thank Sergeant Rodecker for his service and wish him well in his retirement and congratulate Sergeant Muller on his promotion.
Officer Muller, please come forward to have the oath of office administered. Now, this doesn't take effect, though, as you know, until...
On behalf of the state of New York, the county of Suffolk, and the village of Southampton, I,
Timothy Muller,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Sergeant of the Southampton Village Police Department
of Sergeant of the Southampton Village Police Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Judge.
Thank you very much.
And if you want, you can sign the book. We should get it.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Chief, we got a couple photographs?
Yeah, of course. And then we'll have you line up when we get some.
Excellent, good. All right. Here, turn around, we'll get some. Yes, all right. Yeah, of course, we need you. We'd rather have you than so. No, not at all. I'm tall. We're good. That's true. Thank you.
Oh wait, oh yeah, wait, sorry, I messed up, no.
Okay, wait, one more. Okay. All right. Thank you, Kathy. All right, thank you very much. You want to say anything? Please. Yeah, all right.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Board, for giving me this opportunity. It's a really proud moment for me, and I'm happy my family, friends, and colleagues are here to experience with me.
Excellent. Thank you again. Thank you again. As skinny as I can get. Sorry. Thank you all for showing up. I appreciate it. All right, Anthony, we'll go back to the next mayoral appointment.
Number two, Resolved, the Board of Trustees approves the hiring of the Cooper's Beach booth attendant at a rate of $18.00 per hour, effective August 15th, 2024. Kate Johnston.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Resolved, the mayor and the Board of Trustees hereby accepts the resignation of Village Administrator Anthony Carter, effective September 30th, 2024. I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I just would like to say that the village has been very fortunate to have Anthony Carter serve in the position of village administrator for almost a year. Charlene Cagle-Betts left the position, and we had to scramble. And Anthony came forward with an excellent background in police work and management at the Suffolk County Police Department, where he was deputy commissioner. And he has served the village very well as an assistant to me and to the rest of the board in helping to oversee all of the departments of the village and work with all of the employees to provide the best possible service to our residents and visitors alike. So I would like to thank Anthony Carter profusely for his help and assistance with the village, and we certainly wish you well in your new role.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Anyone else on the board want to say anything?
I'll defer until later.
Anthony, we all thank you and congratulate you, and we wish you the best, and we know that you will be a great impact to your next endeavors. We thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Stevenson? want to say?
I'll speak in my remarks, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All right, next resolution. Resolve, Mayor Menger appoints and the Board of Trustees approves Scott Russell to be appointed to the position of village administrator at a salary of $35,000 for the period of time from October 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, and an annual salary of $185,000 commencing January 1st, 2025. Said payments to be made in accordance with the village's regular payroll practices. The salaries set forth above are based in part on the fact that Mr. Russell will not be receiving health insurance benefits or a pension contribution from the village. I will make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. At this time, we will now have board presentations. The first board presentation will be made by the Town of Southampton trustees, headed by Scott Horowitz and Joseph McLaughlin. Oh, actually, we have a lot of trustees here. I'm sorry. And also, we have Matt Judica from McLean Associates. So please come to the podium, and if you have anything you'd like to spread out, you can do so on the table here, and it can be captured by the overhead camera, actually, if you put it sort of right in front of the microphone. But again, this is to discuss the Gin Lane and Agawam parking lot, of which the town trustees have jurisdiction because the parking lot on the north side there, adjacent to Lake Agawam, which currently is partially flooded due to the rains, is actually owned by the town trustees because it was landfill that was put into the lake many, many decades ago. But for that reason, it is controlled by the town trustees. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Can you catch, wait, Sage, can you catch what's on the table or not? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and board members. I'd like to acknowledge, I got Councilman Pell here, and he was part of this project starting at the Genesis quite some time ago, and we worked with Trustee.
We're glad you're as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I just,
60 years.
So yeah, we own this, the lake and this property, and we wanted to see something done there water quality wise and kind of, clean it up and kind of work in collaboration with everybody that's been working very hard on getting this Lake Agawam to be, really the gem that it should be, as opposed to a public health and safety issue. And, the collaborative effort of all of the things that we do are going to be beneficial. I want to say that we worked very closely with Mayor Menger. We had many meetings over this, and we boiled this down, quite a bit. Our board did, with you, and I think that you'll find that that this collaboration is going to pay off in something that's going to do something, good for the environment. Aesthetically, it's going to be nice, and we're obviously very mindful of everybody's budgets and, the amount of money that we have grant-wise, and we want to see a project come to fruition that we could actually be successful with. And I got to say, McLean, Matt Jedlicka here did a fabulous job, and I really would like you to make the presentation of this because we really did a great job with this. So Matt.
So I'm Matt Jedlicka, a principal at McLean Associates. So like Scott said, we did work closely with the mayor. It was important to the village that we do not lose any parking spaces. So we made adjustments to the plan to keep it a net zero. So there's zero loss of parking spaces. We have a water quality grant of $624,000 plus or minus, and we were mindful to try to stay within that budget. So the estimate for this project is about $620,000. We made adjustments to the northwest corner of the parking lot to try to mitigate the flooding that happens there. We're proposing to overlay with some asphalt to try to move the stormwater out of that collection area. We added another crosswalk, so there's 3 crosswalks in total. We're proposing lighting at the crosswalks. We're proposing a timber frame boardwalk that crosses over from the north side of the parking lot to the south side of the parking lot at 4 different locations at the 3 crosswalks, and then kind of in the middle of the parking lot. We did the best we could as far as trying to stay within the parameters of not losing parking, staying within the water quality budget, and capturing as much stormwater as we could. So if we get approval of the geometry of this, we will then focus on some landscaping, salt-tolerant plants, native species, and we'll try to get it out to bid in the fall so that we could have it constructed over the winter and the spring and done before Memorial Weekend next year. So.
Yeah, that would be the key to have this thing, really be looking great by next season. So I hope, that you agree. We did, collaborate with the mayor a tremendous amount on this, and we were, concerned and sensitive to what you all thought. So.
No, and it's very important not to lose any parking spaces, so I appreciate that we could make these infrastructure improvements and including bioswales and rain gardens to mitigate the stormwater, because we do get a lot of water down there. As you know, there's quite a lot of water down there at the moment, but this will be very helpful in capturing that stormwater as opposed to having it go into Lake Agawam. So, I think this is a great plan. I think it's very safe, especially since you're adding a 3rd crosswalk at the eastern end where one does not exist today, and many people have to run across that large gap or that large space of the road, which is an active roadway, Gin Lane, and this will help for safety measures as well. And I think you've come up with a very good plan here, and I'd certainly like to hear what the rest of the board thinks. Again, this is being done by grant money that the town trustees have received, so I'm optimistic that this will not cost the village. But I'd like to hear actually from the rest of the board here, unless Trustee McLaughlin has anything that he would like to say as a former village trustee and now town trustee.
I just want to echo what Mr. Horowitz had said. Obviously, this plan has a long history, starting with my predecessor, Councilman Pell, and living in the village and being a resident. Obviously, this plan is has its merits. Obviously, you see a lot of green space that's added, in addition to a lot of vegetation that's currently not there. So obviously, it's a good plan in compared to what's there now. So I think with your approval, I think it should move forward as is. So.
Thank you, Trustee McLaughlin. Actually, Councilman Pell, since you're here, did you want to say anything? Since you started with this 16 years ago? I appreciate you coming out tonight. You probably have better things to do on a Tuesday evening.
This was always very important for me. I must have to give a lot of credit to Fred Havemeyer, because he's the original one who originally started this.
Yeah.
Then I picked it up from him. So actually, it's probably 18 years I'm sitting here. But thank you very much for doing this.
No, we appreciate your efforts on this for a long time.
And then the next job would be connecting it around the corner up on
Gin Lane?
Gin Lane.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
There are some bioswales that were added there.
But we could get more grants.
I'll get more to do more. I understand.
more.
Sure. Actually, I appreciate that.
Next year.
Yeah, yep. No, I thank you.
I think
Thank you again.
it's a testament to where you need to have this continuity and perseverance to get these things across the finish line. Otherwise, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been in the building at Town Hall in one position or another for 15 years and 11 years as trustee. And I want to say that it's a pleasure working with you all, on all of the projects that we do. And I think that we're going to be successful in them because of the fact of the mutual respect and collaboration. I think this is a classic example. And I think there's many more in our future, as long as we just keep working together. So, I'm interested in what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
And
If you have anything you would like to say.
Again, thank you for this productive collaboration. In my review of this, it's definitely makes a lot of sense. Stays within budget, which is near and dear to my heart, and no, I think it's very thoughtful and intergenerational, as you say. So that's very nice. Thank you.
thank you.
It's also important to note, though, Board, that the narrowing of Gin Lane at the north end of this parking area, or sorry, the west end, as we all know, people like to speed around the village, and I think this narrowing with the bioswales will be a great impact for traffic congestion and controls with speeding. So
My jogging route takes me through this area, and I personally appreciate it as well as in my official role.
Yeah, we did give a lot of consideration to safety factors when we were, reviewing this plan with how
Let me just
things
ask
were going to
one
flow.
thing. Right now, when the cars are parked on the north side of the divider, and they get out of their car, they just walk across the concrete and jaywalk across, or come to the middle or wherever. With the bioswale, I presume that's going to be a depression, and
Right.
not encouraged for people to try and walk into that area and back up the other side. Will it be fenced, or will it just be
It's
not inviting to go in there? Or
So hopefully it's uninviting to go in there. It's going to be similar to the back parking lot here, some of those areas that got added. So it'll be curbed, and then a depressed area, which will be planted. And then hopefully people will understand where the boardwalk areas are, where the crossings should happen.
Right.
And it will maybe control some of that, just, getting out of your car and just
Right.
going straight to the beach.
So that Trustee Stevens, just so you and all the public are aware, aside from the 3 crosswalks that will now be part of this plan, there are 5 additional wooden crossings to
Nice.
get over the bioswale that are demarcated by yellow
those are the
hashes.
yellow line?
Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, just not
Because I was
to,
going to say, somebody might not want
Alright.
to walk all the
Yeah.
way to the 3.
they're the orange ones that are near the crosswalks. The yellow are proposed lights.
Oh, those are just lights. Okay. All right.
Yep, so there's 4 crosswalks.
There are 4 crosswalks. I see. I'm sorry. I'm reading this incorrectly. Thank you for the
Yep.
correction.
4 crosswalks, and in this plan, we have 6 lights, but there's a proposed area where the parallel parking area is in the northwest corner of the parking lot. That's about 900 more square feet that we could pick up in a rain garden and eliminate those 4 spots, which if we eliminate those 4 spots, then we have a net zero with the parking. And the cost of that is approximately $15,000. If we eliminate some of the lights and just put the lights at the boardwalks, we should have the money to be able to pay for that alternate area in the northwest corner. of the
Well, I
parking lot.
think that sounds like a good plan. I was going to ask if there was a way that we could get one more of the timber pedestrian crossings between the other 2 crosswalks.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because people, want to cross where they want to cross and don't always want to walk all the way down to the crosswalk. And so, I think it'd be good if there was a way that somebody could get through there without having to either backtrack or walk a long distance.
Shouldn't be too hard.
No, that's easy.
Does that make sense?
That's easy.
Yeah.
I think it's good commentary, and I think that that's a simple enough thing to remedy.
And I'm fine with your plan to, again, net zero change in the parking spaces, because that is very important. We need to have the same number of parking spaces.
Yeah, we're definitely.
These are all filled up on a busy summer weekend, so we need these spaces. But if there's a way that you can, rework it so that, again, it all fits, comes to net zero and is within budget, then I think we should do that.
Yep, okay.
Well, gentlemen, I want to say thank you so very much for this plan. I'm quite impressed by it. I'm also very excited to hear about the native planting. I would also ask, and I'm sure we'll get to that later, involved with the native planting, if we'll have some plants that may be a little resistant to the deer, because I would like to make sure that your beautiful planting stays beautiful and blossoming and not snacks.
Right.
So that's just one thing we want to be mindful of, and I'm sure you will. And perhaps we can slip in a few plants that will attract some of the butterflies. And I'm very excited. I'd be happy to share some, that I have some information with you on this. We're all in the same vein. And I thank you. I'm looking forward to this very much so. Yes.
That's great. We'll wait to hear that information. That's fabulous. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And let me just ask you, so when was the anticipated start date for this, and how long will it take to do the full construction?
Okay, so if we have approval for the geometry, my office could have something done by I don't want to say the end of the summer, because unfortunately that's
almost the end of summer.
Here. So I think the general idea is if we could have this out to bid with the town sometime in October or November. So that way the bid process takes basically the end of this year, and we would be able to have a shovel in the ground January or February, so that by April we're planting and out of there in May. So that would be the general idea.
Yeah,
it's not a long project, but we want to time it right so that it's the least disruption as possible.
Right, yeah, and hopefully you'd be out earlier May than later May.
Right,
Yeah,
yes, of
yeah,
course.
not Memorial Day.
No,
of course.
we target the end of April as the
Perfect,
completion date, and then tidy up the contract in the beginning part of May.
Okay,
The
that sounds
construction
very
wise would be
fair.
End of
I
April.
appreciate that, Matt. And
course.
thank you. Unless anyone else has
Gentlemen,
further questions.
one more
Ed,
question.
Ed, you're
Thank
on.
you. I have one
sorry,
more
sorry.
question. It's regarding to the bid for, so you said for the bid opening up for the bid process. Now, is that bid going to be split construction and then landscape specialist, or is that going to be one?
No,
Because sometimes engineers are a little not as savvy than people that specialize in landscaping, and also to keep in line with this beautiful plan that you have, making sure that they're native, deer resistant, flourishing,
Salt tolerant.
salt tolerant.
definitely.
Yeah, so this is a lot. This is major. It's beautiful work. I just wanted to blossom for you.
Right.
Was that a consideration that you were thinking of?
So my office will be specifying the plants, working with the landscape architect, and the bid process it'll be one bid for construction, and the contractor that gets the project, chances are they might have to work with some sort of landscaping subcontractor. And during the construction process, there'll be submittal review and approvals of plants, and so they
Okay.
can't just plant whatever they want.
Okay, so you
So
are
it'll be
saying
similar
there is
to-
a process where the town will review the plantings.
Right. Yep.
And it will be at your approval.
Yes.
Okay, very
So,
good.
so if you want to provide, ahead of schedule, what your thoughts are, then we can incorporate that into some of our
I
decision.
think we're in the same line, and then just giving a little checklist. I'd love to see your checklist, share our checklist. Great minds together, good success. And I thank you for that invitation. I'm very excited, as you can see.
Okay.
This is very, very exciting to me, and thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask Trustee Simeone if you had any comments you wanted to make on this.
I haven't had a chance to really see the plans. The presentation, though, is quite good, and I just think we should go forward. That's fine. By the way, I don't really have video or anything. For some reason, I am having a hard time following it.
All right. Well, the good thing is we can see you, though, Ed.
I'm here.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you coming here and doing this presentation tonight, and look forward to continue to work with you and have a great, beautiful new parking lot by next summer. I mean, everyone really enjoys the way the West Main Street parking lot came out here behind Eric's and Hildress and everything. And I think if it's going to be similar in vein to that with the islands, the green islands, I think that's fantastic.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
That's the idea.
Yeah, excellent.
We have a lot more meetings planned ahead of schedule here.
Scott, I always like meeting with you. It's all good. It's all good.
We get it done.
The only thing is you always make me come to Hampton Bays.
come
but
out here.
I'm happy to come to Hampton Bays.
A lot of times we're meeting with folks coming from other places. It just seems to work out convenient. But
It's all good. No, I like it.
we'll
Thank
talk
you.
to you about
Thank
it.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, the next board presentation we have is a traffic update presented by Chief Suzanne Hurto of the Southampton Village Police Department. Chief. Like you're getting new sergeants, you're getting,
I know.
it's a big night.
All right, so as you know, the last board meeting, we had Lee Avenue residents here, a couple people from Captain's Neck, and we had our traffic meeting with those residents. And they voiced some serious concerns that weren't anything new to us. So I kind of lost some sleep over it and came up with an idea to kind of ease some of the concerns without hopefully compromising any safety issues. So the plan is tomorrow, and we're going to implement this Monday through Friday for the next few weeks to see how it works out. With the help of DPW, we're going to cone out the center of Hill Street. We're going to put cones from Lee Avenue all the way down just past Halsey Neck Lane. We will leave openings for Corrigan Street, Bishop, Somerset, and all the other streets to get out. But what we're going to do is no left turns from 4 to 7 on Captain's Neck and Lee Avenue. And what we'll do is my officers will make a chute off of both those streets so the cars have to go right, and that there will be signage that says right turn only. The pilot program will be monitored by marked, unmarked vehicles, motorcycle patrols, and we're going to get an overhead view from the drones. We will also have an officer assigned to Ox Pasture Road for speed enforcement. This might take a few days for muscle memory for people to understand what's happening, but we are going to do speed enforcement on Ox Pasture. We're going to start out between First Neck and Halsey Neck Lane, and if we don't see a pickup in speed, we'll move it back a little bit further. PD will be responsible to pick up the cones at the end of the night, keep them off to the side of the road. The midnight officers will check on them throughout the night to make sure that they don't get taken. We'll monitor Hill Street. I want to watch how far back it goes and if it wraps around onto Windmill Lane, because what I don't want to happen is I don't want it to back up so far onto Windmill Lane that it's now blocking the firehouse, because our volunteers need to get to the firehouse. Our volunteers need to get out of the firehouse. I did communicate to all of the chiefs of the ambulance and firemen, fire department, that we are implementing this, so they are aware of it.
What about that blinking light at Shinnecock?
The blinking light's still going to be going.
Okay.
That usually goes through mid-September.
Okay, because we got to get the cars continually moving through there.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a non-issue. The residents who live on Hill Street will still be able to access their driveways. We're going to space the cones enough so it won't affect those residents. We are also, to alleviate my concern, which was the U-turns on Hill Street and the accidents, with the conage, we're going to space out no U-turn signs that are going to be going right on top of some of the cones. And again, we will have officers monitoring this throughout the duration. I also just want to point out that I know we don't do it often. It's very hard to keep up with it, but we are going to continue enforcement efforts on the north side of Hill Street as well. Motorists that are forced to make the right will also be able to make the left turns into Corrigan to go up Corrigan, Bishops, and Moses Lane to 39. Talked about the cones and barrels already. And, I want to see if this works, if it takes some of the burden off of Lee Avenue and Captain's Neck and Ox Pasture. And I'm hoping that this little pilot that we're doing, our traffic engineers can look at it, get the feedback from us, get the feedback from the residents, look at our drone footage. So they're, we can get these issues worked out. So by next summer, we'll already have something in place that could perhaps eliminate the need for meetings in the middle of the summer where I'm sure you guys all want to go to the beach and everything. So, we could try this to see how it goes. I will stress again, it's a volume issue. It's going to continue until the highway's dealt with. And I will stress that every suggestion we do or pilot program we put in place may have a negative consequence somewhere else. So we have to be cognizant of that as well. And I just want to thank Steve Phillips and his DPW crew for helping us out, because it really is a heavy lift for them every day to put these cones out for the pilot program. So, and also just please keep in mind that in the event of an accident up on the highway, the sergeant or whoever's running it that day is going to can suspend the program at any time and just get traffic moving. So that's the plan for now, and I'm open to take any questions from the board.
So Chief, if I understand correctly, you'll have officers at Lee and at Captain's Neck directing traffic?
No, we're going to have officers monitoring Hill Street, because I need to get an overall view of what's happening. We're going to create, we're going to take a traffic barrel, the big orange barrels. We're going to put that probably just after Hetty Creek on Lee Avenue to alert them right turn only. And we're going to create a chute with the traffic cones. We're going to do the same thing on Captain's Neck. First few days, we're going to have to monitor those closely, but we're also going to put a speed trailer, not speed trailer, the signage, the digital signs at First Neck and Ox Pasture facing traffic that's coming westbound to alert them no access to Hill Street 4 to 7.
And when is this going to start?
Tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Can we do anything? What can we do in a very short period of time to maybe do public service announcement or to get people to know that this is happening?
I'm going to, before I leave, I have something for Kathy to put out on the village website. We're going to, after I leave here, I'm going to speak with Sergeant Dunkirk. We're going to throw something out on our social media page, and, they're going to know tomorrow.
No, we have to do something.
I can't, I don't think we can wait another week.
There's a frustration level.
Well, the frustration level, also too, I mean, our level of enforcement when we are out there and able to enforce it, we're honestly creating more traffic, more bottlenecking, because it's natural for people to stop and look and see what's going on. Not to say that that's a reason for us not to enforce anything, but it is adding to the already stressful issue that the homeowners see, our motoring public see, and at least the aggressive driving. And, it's something that we can do temporarily. And then I really would like to work with the traffic engineers on getting something a little bit, if this works, something cemented in for next year. I think that's the work we need to do over the fall and the winter.
Okay. Ed, do you want to comment online? I'm sorry.
No, not at this point.
Okay. Trustee.
Well, the gentleman in the rear of the room heard the symmetry arguments, and I applaud you for taking that into account, treating the south side of Hill Street like we treat the north side of Hill Street. And that was the big argument that your neighbors made, and I applaud you for this pilot.
Thank you.
And we'll keep our fingers and our toes crossed, Chief.
So you're Chief, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
You're between a rock and a hard place, as all of us
I know.
are. But I applaud you for trying something.
Thank you. I hope it works.
Yeah. Well, obviously, all the traffic that is coming through the village is not generated in the village.
Right.
And we have become a funnel for everything east of here to get across the Shinnecock Canal that, don't want to take 39. So it all comes down to Hill Street, which is, the Montauk Highway.
Great.
So I think anything we can do to try and help alleviate the congestion and the speeding on the residential streets, the side streets, as opposed to the Montauk Highway, really is definitely worth trying, so that we can see how it performs here at the end of the summer when we will have probably a lot of people in this village next week, the week leading up to Labor Day.
Right.
And so I think it's definitely worth trying, and we may learn some good things or some bad things, but again, we it should be a learning experience, and hopefully then we might be able, as you said, to carry some of these forward into next season. So thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So we thank that you ventured out for this. Thank you so very much.
All right, Robin, we're going to turn to you for suggested resolutions. That concludes the board presentations.
Number 1, resolve the Board of Trustees hereby approves the rain date request for the Heart of the Hamptons to host their 3rd annual Moonlight Plunge fundraiser at Cooper's Beach on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. The fee of $250 will be waived for this event.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's great, because this is starting in about 15 minutes. Len, we'll go to you for the next resolution.
Resolve the claims for the warrant dated August 20th, 2024, totaling $369,036.71. Warrant number A9- $412,551. Warrant number H3 Capital, and $4,130 warrant number T5CS Trust are audited and approved. So moved.
I'll make the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
3, resolve the reading of the minutes for the May 2024 Board of Trustee meetings are dispensed, accepted as filed by the village clerk, and the actions taken at those meetings are hereby ratified and approved. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Whereas the Southampton Village Board of Trustees is constantly considering the traffic concerns that plague the village both year-round and during the extra busy summer months. And whereas residents of the village have reached out to the board members with suggestions, and whereas the Village Board of Trustees continues to work with traffic engineers to consider proposals that may help alleviate the traffic burden, and whereas the Village Board of Trustees are interested in receiving feedback from the residents in a public forum before moving forward with any proposals, now therefore be it hereby resolved, the Village Board hereby invites members of the public to attend the meeting of the Village Board on September 12th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Village Meeting Room at the Southampton Village Hall, located at 23 Main Street, Southampton, New York, 11968, to offer any comments on the traffic situation within the village. I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Southampton has determined that this proposed local law is considered a Type 2 action under 6 NYCRR Part 617.5 C22 of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, and that no further review under New York Environmental Conservation Law Article 8 is necessary. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that the Village Board hereby directs that a public hearing shall be held as a hybrid in-person Zoom meeting on September 12th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Village Meeting Room at the Southampton Village Hall, located at 23 Main Street, Southampton, New York, 11968, to hear any and all persons either for or against a proposed local law entitled A Local Law Amending Chapter 110-43 of the Village Code, Vehicles and Traffic, by updating and amending Schedule L, stopping, standing, and parking restrictions. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion. After we implemented some of the parking restrictions that had been in the code, it was determined that some further adjustments need to be made specifically on Cameron Street because of, again, local businesses nearby and the church, the Christian Science Church on the corner of Cameron Street and Pine Street. So because of the concerns that came forward from those streets and also Christopher Street with people that were parking on that to go to the beach down Little Plains Road, that also will be updated to be no parking 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. All other times will be available. But this was mainly really to address some of the concerns that the church on Cameron Street had, as well as some of the businesses located on Cameron Street. So this is an adjustment that was worked out after speaking to some of the business owners, village residents, the chief of police and the superintendent of the Department of Public Works. And so that is what this proposed local law will do at the September meeting. Obviously, any change to a village code has to have a public hearing, so anyone can come forward at that time to speak, and then we will try and, again, make some minor changes to the parking regulations that were put in place based on the village code. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next, whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Southampton has determined that this proposed local law is considered a Type 2 action under 6 NYCRR Part 617.5C22 of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQRA, and that no further review under New York Environmental Conservation Law Article 8 is necessary. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that the Village Board hereby directs that a public hearing shall be held as a hybrid in-person Zoom meeting on September 12, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Village Meeting Room at the Southampton Village Hall located at 23 Main Street, Southampton, New York, 11968, to hear any and all persons either for or against a proposed local law entitled A Local Law Amending Chapter 116-61 of the Village Code, Multifamily Planned Residential Development District, MFPRD, by excluding MFPRDs from the R40, R80, and R120 zoning districts in accordance with the recommendation of the Southampton Village Comprehensive Plan Update of 2022. So I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
And discussion. Again, there's only one MFPRD that exists currently in the village. It is the townhome development that is located behind the Rogers Memorial Library off of Cooper's Farm Road. That was implemented by the developer George Submergin a few decades ago. But that is the only MFPRD in the entire village, and it really is meant for districts that are close to the village, or in smaller lot areas, and not for the larger acre or larger lots. And so the comprehensive plan recommended that the MFPRD be taken out of the larger lots, again, R40, R80, R120, which is, again, basically 1 acre, 2 acre, or 3 acre zoning in the village, and keep the MFPRD as an option in the other districts in the village. So this was, again, recommended by the master plan. I, as mayor, am trying to implement the recommendations of that plan, and so that's why I called for this to be at a public hearing in September. For people to come forward and speak out if they would like to see the MFPRD still on these larger lots. They can voice their thoughts on that. But anyway, that is what I'm doing. So I am asking we have a second. So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Len.
Number 7, resolve the Board of Trustees approves Kathy Sweeney, village clerk, to attend the annual NICOM full training school from September 15th to the 20th, 2024 in Saratoga Springs, New York. Registration, training, hotel accommodations, meals, and travel expenses are estimated at $2,250. So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. I think it's a great program. I attended it last year. You definitely learn a lot, and you get to meet other mayors and clerks and folks, and so it's very beneficial. Okay, Lynn.
Okay, number 8, resolve the Village Board of Trustees approves the following attached budget amendment, number 369, for the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2024 for various budget line shortfalls, total transfer of $74,180.97. So moved.
I'll second. Discussion. So I just want to be clear. This is for last year's budget, not the current budget.
That's correct. Bills from vendors for goods and services that the village purchased have come in subsequent to the end of the fiscal year. So the treasurer has accrued those expenses back to the correct fiscal year, and this implements the payment of those.
And there was obviously money in last year's budget still to
Yes,
cover these
absolutely.
expenses. Okay. So with that, then all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Whereas the Parks Department is in need of a new side-by-side and has found a Toro Workman UTX off the state contract, and whereas 2023-2024 capital budget has previous budgeted $130,000 for an 11-foot Jacobson lawnmower, and whereas the total cost of this lawnmower came in under budget, now therefore be it resolved, the Village Board of Trustees authorizes the purchase of a Toro Workman UTX and hereby amends the 2023-2024 capital budget as follows. Decrease the 11-foot Jacobson lawnmower in the amount of $30,300.25. Add Toro Workman UTX in the amount of $30,300.25. I'll make the motion.
And I'll second it.
So again, this is money that was still in the budget that we did not have to expend on the huge lawnmower, and that the DPW has asked to be then reprogrammed for a purchase of a Toro Workman UTX. So it's basically a wash in the budget. It seems to make sense. So with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Number 10, that Mayor Manger and the Board of Trustees approves the budgeted salary increase for Julie Crudup, the village treasurer, to $97,000 effective September 6, 2024. So moved.
Second, do you want to have any discussion on this, Len?
When Charlene left, we talked to Julie about becoming the treasurer and decided at that point that we would like to promote her to the title and give her a two-step increase. And this fulfills the obligation that we promised her for the second step. And that was when Charlene retired.
So that's approximately, what, 4 or 5 months?
She retired last winter, I believe, in September.
Oh, no,
Yes.
well, yes, but I'm
in
trying
January.
to think of when Julie was named treasurer, though.
January or February, I
Okay,
believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
so she's now been in the position
For 6
at
months.
least 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so you made the motion. I'll
Yep.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Whereas the Village Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation, BARHP, is seeking to undertake an intensive level survey of architectural and historic structures in 2 areas directly adjacent to the existing Southampton Village Historic District for consideration of inclusion in the village's historic district. And whereas the Village of Southampton applied for the 2024 Certified Local Government Grant Program for support, and whereas the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation has awarded the Village of Southampton $40,000 for the Southampton Village Intensive Level Historic Resources Survey project. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Trustees accepts the awarded grant and authorizes the mayor to execute a contract with New York State, subject to approval as to form by the village attorney. I will make the motion.
I'll second it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, whereas for safety precautions, the village needs to enclose and secure the village police department pistol range that is located outside of the village with a chain link fence. And whereas the DPW secured 4 quotes to proceed with the installation of the fence, and whereas the Village Board of Trustees authorizes the purchase and installation of said fence and hereby amends the 2023-2024 capital budget as follows. Decrease landscaping in the amount of $14,800. Add installation of pistol range fence in the amount of $14,800. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion. So this pistol range is located outside of the village, as I said, north of the village, north of Tuckahoe School, in a very heavily wooded area. But it seems that people have been getting in there and causing some mischief on the pistol range. And so it is prudent at this time for the village to securely enclose that facility that is used by the Southampton Village Police Department. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees accepts the donation from Moore Charitable Foundation Incorporated to the Southampton Village Police Department in the amount of $5,000 and approves the use of this donation for the purchase of a new radar system for Police Unit 210 and handheld radar. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees directs the Treasury Department to make the following budget amendment. Increase A.2703 gifts and donations in the amount of $5,000. Increase A.3120.2 police equipment in the amount of $5,000. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Number 14, resolve the Board of Trustees approves the God's Love We Deliver It to host its 2024 Ride to Montauk charity bicycle ride on Saturday, September 14th, 2024 from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. This event is expecting 750 participants. The charity has rerouted the ride through Southampton to avoid the Central Business District and our annual Southampton Village Fire Department's muster at Agawam Park. All in favor?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. At this time, I would like to make a motion for a walk-on that was requested by Trustee Brown. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? All right. Trustee Brown.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the Cooper's Beach celebration to be held at Cooper's Beach on Friday, August 30th, 2024 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the expense not to exceed $2,000 to be paid for by Celebrations A.7550.4.
Okay. You're making the motion.
I'd like to make the motion.
I will second it. Do you want to talk a little bit about what this is going to be?
Yes.
So that the public is aware and they might want to participate on the 30th of August?
Yes, thank you. So all are welcome. This is a time of celebration. There's so many things to celebrate. And as I was thinking, I'm thinking about this year how these grants have served so well for the community that doesn't have to come out of our budget. And I know our trustees are not just happy about that. It's $350,000 that was awarded to the police department, over $200,000. This is a year that every art institution was awarded a grant. That's very exciting. And also we're very excited as far as increasing the revenue with our Cooper's Beach. I want to thank the mayor and my fellow trustees for believing and supporting the cabana service that we have at the family-friendly prices. And we are just taking this time for a community collaboration and celebration of the success and the grants that have happened, and a celebration of the cabana service for the additional stream of income. I know my mayor is going to be happy that 2.5 of the cabanas are paid for. I'm sure that we're going to make the deadline for this summer, and I'm quite thrilled about it. So all are welcome. What I'm very excited about is that this collaboration is a celebration bringing all of the community together. It's going to be Walk the Sandways, and it is going to be a fashion show bringing the community together. We're going to have the participation from our first responders. We're going to have a participation from our local businesses and our local designers. We're happy that this celebration will give the opportunity to highlight what is happening in our village and encourage and increase business, because it is a big part and concern. I know with my fellow trustee, Roy Stevenson, who is the liaison to downtown revitalization, and I thank Mr. Stevenson for his support, that this is all in hand, in part with the celebration to highlight the amazing talent that is here at the village. So with that said, I will ask for my fellow colleagues to come in favor for this.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you very much. That concludes all of the agenda items. But at this time,
Just have to make a motion for Officer Muller's appointment.
did we not do that?
In all of the frenzy, there was no motion.
Okay, I will make the motion for Officer Muller's appointment to the position of sergeant.
And I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I can't believe we messed that up.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's-
Anyway, but we will have comments from board members now, and we will start again with Trustee Brown.
Well, I think I have little to say. I've just said a lot, and I once again will thank my mayor and my board for supporting me on this endeavor. I also would like to thank our first responders. I'd like to thank Chief Manning Escobar for we're going to be venturing into for safety. We will be making Chief will be making himself available to our local restaurants. And the chief and myself will be going into local restaurants, and Chief will be speaking on fire prevention. This will be the first time that we have done this, and it is our concern as a board to make sure to have preventative measures. We will also be working with our ambulance as far as continuing CPR, and you can contact Mimi or Kathy Sweeney, and I will have that information available hopefully on the website for people that want to sign up, because as we all know, safety is first. So, and I also want to thank very much the work that was done by Southampton Town and their trustees. We thank you for this elaborate. I'm quite pleased with the plan. I'm so happy that it is going to not only be beautiful, but environmental friendly. I thank you that they thought about the plantings and additional crosswalks and lighting. So I'm sure my board is also agreeing with what I'm saying, that we thank you. We're excited about this time frame. I think it's quite aggressive, and we support them. We thank them that it will be just absolutely lovely for the spring. And on that, I will wish my colleague a speedy recovery. Trustee Ed, we wish you a speedy recovery. And thank you, Mayor and trustees, for the time.
Thank you for that, Trustee Brown. Next, we will go to Trustee Simeoni. Ed?
Oh, first of all, thank you, Trustee Brown. I've been hospitalized for a week, and I thank you very much for your well wishes. And I have not been able to follow through on all the details of what's been transpiring, but I was very pleased to see the plan that was presented by the Southampton Town Board. That looks like it's going to be a very nice addition, change at the parking lot, and definitely very gratified to see that Chief Hertel has been able to find a solution, at least try a solution for the traffic problems that we have on Lee Avenue. So thank you very much, and I pass that on to you.
Thank you, Trustee Simeoni. Go now to Trustee Roy Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Likewise, Ed, feel better. Sorry to hear you've had some complications, and I hope everything gets back to normal soon. I would like to thank Sergeant John Rodeker for his years of service to the village and wish him a happy retirement. And I would like to repeat the congratulations we had earlier for Sergeant Muller promotion. I know he has served the village wonderfully already and will continue to do so. I do want to take this moment to thank Village Administrator Carter for his service. I have known him now for a fair number of months, and going back to the original interviews for the Southampton Village Police Chief, I've been impressed continually by his professionalism, his sincerity, and his interest in serving this village to the best of his ability and in trying to always do the right thing. I want to thank him for his service, and I apologize for some of the treatment that he has received in his efforts, and all he has tried to do during his time as has been to serve this village to the best of his abilities. And I will miss your friendship and your service, and I wish you all the best going forward. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you, Trustee Stevenson. We'll go to Trustee Zananti.
Thank you, Mayor. My career in public service has spanned about 50 years. I can't even believe I just said that, but it's 50 years. And I've met several people who exemplify the very best in public service, which I consider the noblest of all careers. Anthony Carter has been able to successfully and effectively transfer his education, both undergraduate and postgraduate, and his skill sets, which include management, organizational, and analytic skills, combined with his impressive impressive experience in the New York City Police Department and the Suffolk County Police Department, to our village in an effective way. His knowledge about local government and his steadfast demeanor were assets that this village will sorely miss. I wish you, Anthony, the very best in your next career, and I'm confident that you will be immensely successful. This village, its employees and residents will miss you big time. Good luck, Anthony.
Thank you, Sue.
Also, I would like to welcome our new village administrator, Scott Russell, who also comes to us with great experience as the town supervisor for Southold for many years. I look forward to working with him and having a productive relationship. And lastly, on August 15th, the mayor and I attended a reception for U.S. Armed Force veteran John Malillo, who is now a painter, at the Cultural Center. The program was Life Goes On Part 4. It was extremely touching and compelling to see his art and to see the outpouring of veterans, elected officials, and our residents at the reception. And with that, I will say good night.
Thank you, Trustee Zananti. I too would just want to add that it's been an honor to work with Anthony Carter, whose diligence to this village has been exemplary, and I really appreciate all you've done for us.
Thank you.
I would also like to thank Sergeant Rodeker for his dedication to the village and for his years of service here. And I would like to, again, congratulate Officer Muller on his promotion to the position of sergeant within the Southampton Village Police Department. I enjoyed joining Trustee Zananti for the Veterans event that he spoke about at the Cultural Center. I also very much was honored to kick off the Ellen's Run at the intermediate school last weekend. Ellen's Run is again for breast cancer awareness and screening, and again to promote screening for women in the prevention of serious breast cancer. And so it was a wonderful run with a very large turnout, and it was great to get up on the ladder and call out to everybody, welcoming them to Southampton Village, and then ready on your set, on your mark, get set, go. And it was very exciting. That being said, we've had lots of discussions and meetings on traffic. We've invited residents into Village Hall. They're invited again next week. And again, we've invited everybody to come in and speak to the board on the 12th of September to share with us their thoughts and ideas on what can be done about the traffic situation. It is a volume issue, but again, I think the chief really took it upon herself to think outside of the box and what could she do to help alleviate the congestion that some of our residents experience on their residential streets on a daily basis. And she's come up with this idea with the cones and again, the no left turns on a couple of streets. And we need to give that a little time to see how it works. But again, I want everyone in the village to know that we are trying to figure out solutions to help alleviate this problem. It's not going to go away, but we can do everything we can to help alleviate it. And your village board is doing just that. We were inundated with rain at the end of last week and the beginning of this week. As you know, County Executive Ed Romaine declared a state of emergency for parts of Suffolk County, especially the northern side. We actually were spared a little bit here in Southampton. That being said, we still were inundated with a lot of rain, and I spent a lot of time riding around with DPW Superintendent Steve Phillips, as did Anthony Carter for that matter, looking at areas in the village that really need to have the drainage improved. We looked South Main Street, Toilsome, Post. Those were some of the hardest hit areas, and we are working again with contractors to help install additional drainage and fix drainage that actually is not working properly. The village has been cleaning out the sumps so that, again, rainwater, stormwater can go into those areas. And we are continuing with bioswales, which help, again, capture stormwater and road water runoff. The latest is up at Bowden Square, where we are implementing some additional bioswales at the triangle, if you will, at the point, the island in the middle of that area. And we will be putting in some bioswales in front of the U.S. Post Office on North Sea Road. Those are areas where we get an awful lot of water, and this should help in helping the road runoff situation, and again, helping us to clean water before it gets underground to Lake Agawam. And that brings me to the question of Lake Agawam and Old Town Pond. We received at least 5 inches of rain in a very short period of time. Lake Agawam is overflowing into the parking lot that we were talking about earlier, as is Old Town Pond overflowing its borders. The village cannot leave that in that state. We have approval to have 2 drains from the DEC to be able to drain water from those bodies of water when they are overflowing, which is the state that they are in right now. The village took every step to ensure that the public was notified. We put this on the village website. I emailed the town trustees. We notified the bathing corporation that is in close proximity to one of the pipes. We warned everyone with signs at the locations that there was prohibited no swimming when we must lower the lake levels because of overflowing bodies of water. The town trustees are in full agreement that this was the right step to do, and so we did that. We don't do this lightly. We only do it when it's really a crisis situation, which we have at this time. So I just want the public to know that the village is doing everything to inform everybody on websites and social media that they are not to go into the ocean at those specific beaches until we can close the pipe and the water dissipates. But we are doing everything, as you heard with the town trustees, to, again, be able to absorb some additional road runoff from the parking lots at the south end of Lake Agawam with a new bioswale installed in that median. So we are trying to prevent the water from getting into the lake. As you know, in November, we will have on the ballot a referendum for a land swap of Dozier Park for a piece of property on the west side of Lake Agawam. I encourage everybody that can hear me that they should vote yes on that land swap. This will allow us to install algae harvesters, 3 of them, at Dozier Park, as well as put in the permeable reactive barrier, which will prevent some of the groundwater from leaching into Lake Agawam. There's not one silver bullet to solve this problem. All of these things, though, will help. The bioswales, the algae harvesters, the permeable reactive barrier, and a sewer system eventually in this village, which we are working very hard to find a location for the sewage treatment plant. Please know that this board is working very diligently, as well as the sewer committee, to find a suitable location for this in conjunction with the Suffolk County Board of Health and other entities that we must consult with. So we were working very hard to do that. All of these steps, when taken together, will help solve the problem of the water in the lakes, the poor quality of the water in the lakes and ponds in this village. Mindful that they also come under the jurisdiction of the town trustees, as the Dongan patent gives bodies of water over to the town trustees. So we are working closely with them, again, on these projects. But again, everything will take a little time. But in the meantime, when we have a rain like we did in the last few days that overflows the banks and floods the parking lot as well as the sides of the streets, we must take action. And again, the pipes were approved by the DEC. This is perfectly legitimate to do this. We have warned the public. We have put signs all over the beaches. And this is something that we must do until we can get the water quality to a level where we will not have to do this, which is something we are working very hard on. But at this time, we have to take these steps. So I just want the public to know that we are doing everything we can. And again, the bioswales, even at the post office and Bowdoin Square, will help to alleviate some of that stormwater that runs into Lake Agawam. But again, please vote to allow the land swap at Dozier Park in November. And finally, I just want to say that there will be a newsletter coming out right around Labor Day, shortly thereafter, again, with updates on matters pertaining to the village. We have a great piece written by Kyle McGinnis, the chief of the Volunteer Ambulance Corps, and I think it's actually going to be something that's very informative to residents in the village. And I think the newsletters are really great, and we look forward to Ed Simeone's letter introducing himself to the village as well. So with that, I think I will conclude and ask that we adjourn this meeting of the Board of Trustees at 7:10 p.m. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you very much, and good night.